welcome to Lynchburg Live. I'm your host, Linda Smith. In late August, Lynchburg hosted a 48-hour film project. My guests tonight are LaShonda Delivuk and Phil Spinner. Phil is one of the entrants into the film project, and LaShonda is the organizer of this. So they're going to be telling us tonight just what this was and how successful it was. Welcome to Lynchburg Live. Glad to have both of you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, as we begin, LaShonda, will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I came here in 2008 to work for Liberty and go to the school as well. And after I graduated, I decided to stay. My husband and I started a company in 2011. That's a video production company called Life Focus. And through that, we've stayed in the area and produced video content for area businesses.
Oh, that's wonderful. I was going to ask you later, but since you mentioned it, just exactly what Life Focus is. So,
yeah, it's a local video production company. We currently service about 70 businesses. The majority of them are around Region 2000, and we do TV commercials for them, web videos, educational DVDs, pretty much whatever they need.
That's wonderful. I really didn't know there was something like that here, but you know, you assume that there is. All right, Phil, what about you? Tell us who you are and what you do locally.
Well, I have a similar story, except for I am a Lynchburg native. I've been here in Lynchburg all my life, and I also run an independent production company called Heritage Media Services that started in about year 2000, and we do things like commercials, television shows like we're doing tonight, weddings, funerals, you know, anything that anybody needs video for.
Yeah, Phil is my boss, so he and I work together now for 5 years on this show, and it's really nice to have you on the other side of the table instead of in the control room.
It's different on this side. It's a lot different.
All right. Please tell us what this 48-hour film project is. I think it's so interesting.
Yeah, it's an international film competition, and it's been around for years, but it's just come to Lynchburg this year. And what happens is all around the world, people make a short film in 48 hours. So over the weekend, they get their elements at a kickoff location. They create their film, and then they drop it off in the same place 48 hours later. So we had 17 teams participate, and they created films, and we screened them all in the Dollar Theater.
I think that's, all right, you said this is international. So.
Yes, so it's happening all over the world, and different cities have different elements. So if someone wants to participate in more than one city, they can.
Oh, that's neat.
But it allows people to be creative and actually get their work on the big screen.
So the Lynchburg competition, was that for the entire state of Virginia or just for the Lynchburg area?
There are 3 locations in Virginia to participate in the 48. You can participate in Hampton Roads, you can participate in Richmond, and now you can participate in Lynchburg. And the reason why we wanted to get something on this side of the state is because you only have 48 hours, and you have to pick up your elements in person. So I actually participated in Hampton while living in Lynchburg. So I burned up 8 of my 48 hours in a car.
Oh my goodness.
So that becomes really stressful. So we wanted to make it easier for local filmmakers to participate in something like this without losing so much time in the car.
So what did you have to do to get this competition brought to Lynchburg?
I had to interview for it just like any other job, submit resumes, references, interview. It's interesting because a lot of the people in headquarters know nothing about Lynchburg, and they just think it's a town in the mountains, and they said, hey, do you think this is going to work? And I reassured them and said, there is a huge community of local filmmakers who are extremely talented and just ready to show people what they can do. And so they were shocked when they saw the quality of the work and how many teams we got in our first year.
All the competitions that happen internationally, did they take place around the same time or of the year? Or
they take place in the U.S. We have to have our competition take place between March and August. Around the world, they participate at different times of the year, but you have what's called a tour. So over the course of that tour, it'll hit 120 cities on all 6 continents that are involved. So I don't believe we have teams in Antarctica, but everything else.
That's amazing, the scope of this. All right, so the people who won in Lynchburg, where did they go next?
What happens is when you win in your city, your film gets entered in an international film festival with all the other city winners. So all 119 other cities that participated and had winning films all go together to Hollywood and are screened. So that's where they're going in March next year.
Is that where Filmapalooza?
Filmapalooza, yes. Filmapalooza is the name of that festival, and that takes place in Hollywood. So we'll be represented by our city film along with the other two from our state and the rest from around the world.
All right, so let's get back to this, to our Lynchburg event. Did competitors from all over the state, you said, participated? Because they can come. I'm a little sketchy on that still.
Oh, no. What happens is, it's the filmmaker's prerogative to participate in whatever city they'd like.
Okay.
Typically what happens is they don't want to burn up hours in the car, so they'll participate in the city closest to them. But we did have some teams with team members from Pennsylvania, from Roanoke, from however. But the majority of the filmmakers who created films are from our community.
I think that's great. All right, how was this advertised? Phil, how did you find out about this?
I think the first time I heard about the competition, maybe might have been on Google or something like that. But the first time I heard about the one in Lynchburg, I think LaShonda had sent an email to invite me to participate in the competition.
Was it by invitation only, or was it like, did the general public know about it?
I'm not sure what else you did as far as the marketing, but the way I found out was through
yeah.
email. I think you did Facebook and Twitter
there was
and stuff like that.
A lot of Facebook promotion the first year because in our community we have a lot of college students and a lot of them were gone over the summer. And so I had to think of ways to reach out to people who aren't living here over the summer to bring them back. So we had, Facebook ads and posts, we had emails go out, different organizations like the Virginia Film Office and the Virginia Production Alliance sent out e-blasts. So we were able to send out the word electronically, and hopefully next year we've had some sponsors step up and say, hey, we want to help you guys get on TV and get on the billboards so that more local people can find out about it.
So this will be done again?
It will be done again.
All right, now this is a question I was going to ask you later, but either one of you can answer this. The whole production takes place in 48 hours. Is that right, Phil?
Yes.
From the time that you
48 hours
that you select the people, your actors, and you have to write your screenplay.
Okay.
I mean, tell me what
I'll kind of just walk you through the process. The way
sure.
it worked was, once the word came out that there was going to be a competition, there are some things that you can do in advance of the competition before the competition actually starts, the official 48. And those things are, you can get releases on locations where you can shoot, and you can assemble your production crew, and you can gather up your actors, right? Those are the things that you can do before the actual 48. Okay. And then once the 48 starts, you go to the kickoff event, and there's like 3 interesting elements of the competition that I kind of like. Yeah. You get a line of dialogue, and in our case it was, so what's that supposed to mean? So in every film that gets made, it's got to have that line of dialogue in it somehow, and a character. You get a character that has to be included in your film, and what's the third thing?
A prop.
A prop. In this case, it was an envelope. So in each one of the films that are created has that line of dialogue, the prop, and a character in it. And then after that, it's whatever you want to do. And you got to do all the writing within the 48 hours, do all the shooting within the 48 hours, all the editing within the 48 hours, and hopefully it gets rendered in time to turn it in before the deadline.
Do you sleep?
Well,
or do you just go around the clock until you finish your project?
Well, in our case, the kickoff was Friday night at 7 o'clock. So that took me about an hour or so. And then most of our team was at the kickoff. So we went and kind of had like a little powwow, discuss the film genre that we drew, which is film to film. That's another aspect of the competition. You don't know what kind of film genre that you're going to have to make. Your name's just kind of like picked out of the hat.
Right, that's interesting too.
Yeah, it could be a drama, it could be a comedy, it could be a horror flick, but you don't know that until
They literally did pick it out the head.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. So we picked out the film was our genre. So afterwards, we went and kind of had like a little team powwow, discuss the genre, discuss the character, and discuss the story that we were going to put together. So this was like Friday about 9 o'clock, and then everybody kind of broke apart, and we had a writer, so she was going to write the story overnight. And I went home, sat around about an hour or so, because part of my thing in this was, the technical part of it. So I'm getting all my gear ready, and then I got all my gear ready, and I'm still got this nervous energy. So I grabbed the camera, and so I went out to our location that we was going to shoot in. So I started shooting Friday night. So all the night scenes in the clip that we're going to see later, I had done Friday night, and then Saturday morning we started up, I think around 8 o'clock, something like that. We all assembled at our location and got our gear set up, and we started shooting. We shot all day until about, I guess, 7 or 8 p.m. But I started the editing process around 3 p.m. that afternoon because we had assembled enough footage that the editing process could start. So I started editing around 3 while the rest of the crew was shooting the rest of the scenes. So I edited up until about 12:30, 1 o'clock at night, went to bed, and got up Sunday morning around the same time, I think about 7, 8, and then we did the rest of the editing and what we needed to do to make the deadline. And we had some challenges making the deadline, but we did make it.
So the short answer to that question is you didn't sleep much.
Not much.
All right, you said there were 17 entries.
There were 17 entries that were completed. We did have 3 that didn't make it back by 7:30, but the great thing about the competition is as long as they turn them in, we can still screen them. So they still had the opportunity to be shown in the theater, but they couldn't win anything else but audience choice. So,
But that's still,
that's still something.
and they still had the opportunity to do it. You brought some pictures, so if we can put those up on the screen, we'll get LaShonda to tell us what they are.
This is a behind-the-scenes photo from Team Bo Dynamite. Team Bo Dynamite was led by Terry Bodine. She works at Randolph College, and she's actually the only female team leader from the competition this year. They also did a story about her in the News in Advance.
I saw that. They did a nice job.
Yeah. This is a screenshot from True Colors, which won runner-up in the competition. And a fun fact about this film is the filmmakers actually filmed a wedding during the weekend of the 48. So I'm not really sure how they finished on time, but kudos to them for filming a wedding and still turning in a great film.
Exactly.
This is a shot from one of our teams that participated from Roanoke. Dave Perry actually is a director of photography in Roanoke, and he filmed some of his short film in there. And this was from Late Night with Terry Fillmore, was the name of it. This is a great shot. Hopefully the fire marshal won't be upset with us. But I thought we would have about 40 people tops in the White Hart for kickoff, and as you can see, we had a lot more than that. So the support was huge, and it was just fun to have all that energy in one place to get the competition started. One thing that happened during the weekend was a lot of rain. Wasn't heavy, but it was pretty constant, and so in some of the films you actually see actors using umbrellas to make their film happen. So I'm really proud of everybody for pushing through that, and hopefully next year we'll have a little bit better weather. This is a fun photo. This is the first team to drop off their film, Team Gravy Sucking Pig Films. They are some high schoolers from LCA. The one closest to me, Chandler, is actually at Liberty now. But they were the first team to finish, and they actually were the ushers for the competition once we got to Cinemark. So.
Is this the one that the 8 teenagers put together?
Yeah. We had a couple teenage teams. And this is actually a screenshot from the winning film, The Gambit, by Team Abandon. And they did a sci-fi short film, and it was absolutely incredible.
Was there a limit on the length of the films? Like it could be not shorter than or not longer than?
We say 4 to 7 minutes in length. I would say the average length was about 6 minutes, but people pretty much pushed that time frame, which I was really happy with because they told a really good story in a short amount of time.
Now, how many judges were there?
We had 4 judges. They all came from a theater or film background. We had one Broadway actor, his name is Sean McLaughlin, and he was on tour with Evita, so he actually watched all the entries electronically to judge them. But then we also had 3 fairly local judges. One was Jerry Franks. He's a casting director, and he helped cast the TV show Lost. Oh. He was a judge. Erica Arvald was another judge, and she helped cast the movie Lincoln. And the third was Sarah Elizabeth Timmons, and she's a producer, and she produced the film Lake Effects out at Smith Mountain Lake. And so the 3 of them actually came to the award screening and socialized with a lot of the filmmakers, and it was really cool to see such notable people in the film community interacting with our local filmmakers.
I think they probably realized that the people who are putting these films together are really the future of filmmaking if they get the right kind of enthusiasm from doing something like this.
Oh yeah, we actually hired one of the directors of photography from one of the 48s after the competition for our company because he did such a great job, and we selected an intern as well. So, people definitely were looking at these films for casting purposes, to bring on extra crew for real life projects. So it was a great way to network as well.
Right, now Phil, you were part of a team.
Mm-hmm.
We've already talked about that. Where did you win or come in with how did you do?
Well, personally, I had 3 goals going into the competition. The first one was I wanted to do something different that I don't normally do, like television. It's so much faster than like filmmaking and event recording, something like that. So this was something that was completely new to me. So I wanted to try something different, and I wanted to meet some new people that I had not worked with before. And in the case of my team, I didn't know any of these people before. No.
Yeah, he
Nobody.
actually had his team. It's funny because I helped him create his team. And a couple of the main people involved had literally just moved to Lynchburg, and they loved film and they wanted to be involved, but they didn't know anyone. They said, hey, what better opportunity than to do a project and get to know someone through the process of working on a project. So I connected them with Phil, and they did a great job.
I'm sure he did. I mean, I think Phil he's one of the best editors that I've ever met, and so I'm sure you did a good job, but that has to add to the stress of it, going into working with people that you've not worked with before or even met.
But I think I was very fortunate. All of my team members were very professional and skilled and knowledgeable, and they knew about the process, particularly John. He was like basically the director of the film, and he brought in a guy from Virginia Beach, Paul, to help with some of the photography and editing and all that kind of stuff. And I was very impressed with my team.
What was the title of your entry?
Our film was called When It Rains. That was like LaShonda said, it was raining, so we tried to work that into our story. Yeah, we just tried to work with it and put it into the story.
All right.
Basically, it was just a story about a bookstore owner that was having some difficulties with the bookstore.
Okay, we have a clip from your entry.
That was what the story was about.
All right, can you key us to watch a little bit of your entry?
Okay.
Everyone has a story. For some it's long, others short. Some stories end with a period before the paragraph really starts to get interesting. So it was with my story. It all began during a summer, just as a hot August air rolled back into September rains. For a salesman, I did well.
Hi, I'm Rob Ward. Would you like to consider a magazine subscription?
Eventually, I traded Ladies' Home Journal subscriptions for a bookstore, which I co-owned with my friend Sam Angler. On September 9th, I disappeared, never to be seen or heard from again. There were rumors, but slowly they slipped away, and I was forgotten in the folds of old memories.
Excuse me.
When Ryan entered the bookstore, the chance arose for things to be made right. He was searching for a rare book, a book that I had left him. But he didn't realize at the time how important it would end up being. The store was only days away from being closed, as Beth fended off calls from Sam Angler, collecting an ever-increasing rent.
Now, Phil, how many people were on your team?
On our team, I think we had about 3 people on the technical crew, including myself. And then in the story itself, we had 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 people in the film, and a writer and some spouses that helped with lunch and stuff like that.
But all teams didn't have to have the same specific amount of people.
No, we actually had one team that had one person on it, and it was actually a dear friend of mine. He shot it, edited it. He was 5 different characters, and he did the whole thing by himself. And we had other teams that had over 20 people involved. So it's open to whatever they want to do.
That's fantastic. Now tell me, what entry won, and can you tell us a little bit about it? I know we don't have a clip from that tonight, but we've got another clip to show.
Yeah, the name of the film is The Gambit, and it was a sci-fi short film. It was created by Team Abandon. They also won an award for Best Editing and Best Sound Design, and they also tied for Audience Choice with another film called Spanish Gold. The film features a couple friends of mine, Jay Marcheski. She's a local musician. She's actually on the cover of Lynchburg Living right now. Okay. And the other actor was Michael Rapay, and we actually went to college together, and we were theater majors, so they both did a great job in that.
We actually have a film. You said there was also a competition for the best trailer.
Yes, what the 48-hour film project allows filmmakers to do is to create a trailer for their short film that's 48 seconds or less to show before it hits the movie theater. So that way people can get excited about what they're going to see, and after it makes it to the movie theater, then we release all of the films. So we had one team create an incredible trailer, and they did such a great job that I thought, you know, it might be nice to create an award that I can choose, and that was Best 48 Trailer. And so that went to the short film Spanish Gold, and that's the clip we have.
Okay, so let's see that.
From the creative minds who brought you such romantic classics as What If I Told You and Chase comes Spanish Gold. Critics are saying stuff. Chris Sepala says it was funny. Brent Woodruff agrees. Good to do over a weekend. Josh DeVries says, okay, I'll check it out. The romantic extravaganza of the millennium. Take your girlfriend to see Spanish Gold.
That's great. I just think it's great. All right, one of the questions I want to ask both of you is, what did it mean to you, Phil, to be involved in this?
I got some experience doing a type of filming I had not done before, and I liked it, and it was fun. And I liked all the people that I met on my crew, and some of the other filmmakers, got a chance to talk to some of them. And it's just, I like the idea of it being a competition. where you're in this 48-hour pressure cooker and you have to deliver no matter what, and that's kind of cool, working under stress and deadlines and stuff like that. And for filmmakers, I would highly encourage them, try it, do
So
it.
you would do it again?
Yeah, I would do it again, yeah.
How about you, LaShonda? This is your first year as director of this.
Yeah, I've participated on a team for a couple years, and it's interesting to be on the other side producing the event,
Right.
but it was incredible to watch so many people who had a desire to do film that I never expected. We had a couple high school teams, some teams as young as 16 years old, and unfortunately my expectation level was kind of low. I couldn't create a film when I was 16, and they were incredible, and actually the one that had the youngest team won Best Acting. So it was really cool to see local filmmakers creating something in a short amount of time, which forced everyone to finish it. And then the entire community supported them, got behind them, and went to the screenings to see their films. So it's definitely something that's going to stay and grow with time, and it's kind of nice to start a tradition here. So
It has to be really rewarding for you to do that.
yeah, I had no idea how it was going to turn out, and it exceeded my expectations for sure.
So how were the films screened?
We basically had one night where everyone who finished their film got to go on the screen, and that was the premiere.
And
so
where was that?
It took place at Cinemark Movies 10 on Candlers Mountain Road, the Dollar Theater. And so we had two groups. We had screening group A and screening group B. So we screened all of the films at that point, and any film that won an award got another chance to be seen the following week. And then we awarded the awards in person to all the winning teams.
So I think that's wonderful. And we are going to do this again here?
Yes,
Great.
it will be back next year, next summer.
All right, just one sort of silly question. Did you both have fun?
I had a blast.
It was intense, but I enjoyed it. Yeah.
I thank you both for being here and for telling us about this opportunity for amateur filmmakers and something to look forward to for next year. I think it's an opportunity that these kids, people who are hearing about it on this program, they can start planning now. Do you have an idea of when it's going to be? Do you have a date?
I believe it will still be in August. What's nice about the August time frame is a lot of the college students are gone, so it's easier to find locations. So I think that's something that I'm going to keep, but it'll be late enough in August that all the college students can come back and see the winning films.
That's great. Thank you both.
No problem.
Thank you.
I hope you've enjoyed tonight's show and learning about the 48-hour film project. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and our October shows will be devoted to that theme. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.
Bright Hope Educational Learning Center, located in Lynchburg, Virginia. It's more than just a daycare. We offer preschool, before and after school care, as well as educational and fun camps. Bright Hope is for ages 4 years to 12 years. It has a safe and clean environment and offers all-inclusive fees. You can contact us at 434-401-2636 or visit our website, www.bh247.org.